Hello from Bali. This is the podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about alcominimalistic and let's start with the definition.
When you flying with airlines, sometime you will be given, especially in business class, some small bottles like Hennessy, like red wine or something else. It depends from country and the company you traveling with. And if the company will be hospital, they will not open the cork, and you could use this bottle as a little present or put, for example, in your collection. Right now, from my left side, I have like several hundred bottles with small different drinks. For example, it would be Next from Hungary. It would be Limoncello from Italy. It would be One Italian from Latvia, I think. It would be absent, and it would be also Hennessy and some other stuff. And sometimes it is quite interesting to see in the cupboard a lot of different bottles. And sometimes it would be a request from my clients or my friends, could I test it? And for several years, maybe for 10 or 20, I was saying, come on, this collection, you couldn't touch this. But after I was moving in 6 countries, between 6 countries, I take my collections apart, I broke them. So I ask, okay, if you want, you could test everything you like. And people will say, oh, come on, I never was tasting, for example, absinthe. It was American guy, and he was saying, if I'm not mistaken, absinthe is prohibited in the US because it is maturity is 70%. I don't know, is it okay to say about alcohol 70% of maturity or something like this? Strongness.
Or like a spirit level.
Spirit level, yes, correct, thank you. Spirit level. So, and it's quite funny. Sometimes you couldn't understand what you want to buy. For example, we have been with my wife in Georgia, and we were on wine tasting tour, and we were presented like 20 bottles, and it was not easy to choose. And suddenly I found that they have also small bottles, like, I don't know, maybe a portion look like a glass of wine. And I asked, could I buy all of those, but in small bottles? They were laughing, okay, but this we just give for a free. No, I would like to buy. And then I would pay it for a small amount of money. And then my wife was sitting several days, each evening tasting different kind of wine. And then she chose 1, 2, or 3 bottles, and they were delivered in our flat in Moscow. And it's quite convenient way to understand, is it tasty for you or not? When you will go, for example, wine cellar to test the wine, I am not alcoholic, so I do not know the difference between all of these drinks. But if you will sit in special room with special, I don't know how to say, zakuska snacks, sometime in foreign places, it would be taste so good because of, I don't know, sea which has waves, wind which has some smells. But if you will sit in your flat, you will understand that it is quite usual, quite ordinary drink. So it is a good way to have it with, and then you make decision in a calm and relaxing situation.
Well, I do believe now we probably will take like a slightly unusual step away because I was about to, like speak about all of this, like collections, the currency. Of course, we'll go down there, but then maybe we will speak about the size because something that I kind of noticed at certain point of time, you don't really need to have like a quantity. Let's say, like some people would say, hey, let's go to this place because portions are big, meaning that, like all they care about is actually, like to get stuffed and put some food into their body just for the sake of, like feeling certain feelings. When it comes to alcominimalistic, it seems that it's not really about, like getting something rare, but maybe getting the taste, and the amount is not that matter because basically you do care about the uniqueness of the stuff. You do care maybe as a hunter or gatherer, you care about, like getting the trophy. And then yes, it's a taste. And maybe the last thing is like you try to taste it slowly because you do understand that, like it's a process that, like you need to give from your physical point of view and maybe even from the mental point of view. So whether an alcohol minimalistic has this aspect or it depends from person to person.
Differs from country to the country. For example, in Japan, I have been to several bars, and we were drinking like Asahi beer and some other stuff. And sometimes we were presented by the employees, let's test in your home situation this kind of beer and this kind of beer. I don't know if you have ever seen those small cans, but it would be like a thick coins, maybe for 50 gram. I don't know. It's like usual can for example, Budweiser or Tiger or Bintang beer, but it has a height, I don't know, like 3 centimeters. So it has the same opener, everything the same, even the name on it, but it's very small. So you could take like 5 or 10, maybe 5. It's will be like size of original one can. And for example, if you will go home and each night before you go to bed, you could test one. It's quite several sips. You will not get drunk. You will have no smell. But after the end of the week, you will go to the same bar and you will know definitely what you like more. So you will say, okay, I want to have something like this beer I was presented next time. This first way. And second way, sometimes, you know, it's quite a good gift to someone. For example, I have been to China and I have been to one restaurant and they were presenting a big box, square box with small holes. It was like 32 happiness. I don't know how to say, 33 радости.
33 joys or happiness.
Happiness, yes. And also we were tasting this quite a small bowl of, I know, something, and then we were also presented by a wooden, I don't know how to say, wooden board with 5 holes in it, and there would be some small bottles, and you will just open it, you will strike on the table, ударить об стол, strike, hit on the table, hit on the table, and then drunk by yourself, and you know, girl will make you, I don't know how to say, lap, пощечина.
Could be, slap? Yeah, slap is a good one.
And girl, after each drink, will give you a slap. So you will drink, slap, drink, slap, drink, slap. I don't know how it works, but after 5 small bottles, you will be completely drunk and you will be very happy. But in 30 minutes, you will go in another conditions. You will be like woken up, and then you can continue. And you'll say, okay, eliminate from this set this and this I don't like, and I will have another one. And at the end, you will ask how many sets you want to take with, and you can take like 5 sets or 10 sets with yourself, and then you will drink it in your train, in your, I don't know, plane, whatever you want.
And now the second part is the currency, because I do believe it also feels, because they're not those bottles. Yes, they might be commonly sold at the, you know, like specific stores, but if you look for something specific, especially it's like a geographical or national wide, you need to actually go to the specific place, meaning that the moment someone receives this from your hand, they actually know that you did care, that, you know, like you could think of the gesture, you could actually spend the time. And I do believe it might be, you know, like adding up to this currency. So when we look into this, I would say the hobby, or maybe the, you know, like something that could be used as the building or making the relationships better, whether it's the good leverage, or again, it depends.
For example, there are several kind of alcohol which has not just a collection value, but also it will be like a great present. For example, I have several Chinese bottles filled with fruits. For example, I have, I don't know, it could be like a liqueur in English, and a small bottle, but inside of this bottle is pear, груша. It's okay to say pear?
Pear.
Pear, another peach, and another apple. And you know, those fruits quite bigger that I don't know how to say that, neck of the bottle. But you know, it's quite easy. Chinese people just put this bottle on the small fruit, and it is grows inside the bottle, and then just fill liqueur. And another several bottles. I have bottle with a snake. My wife always says, come on, put it in the darkest angle. I do not want to see it. I have with, I don't know how to say, not worms, гусеницы, not worms. Caterpillars. Yes, caterpillars. And I also have with some bugs. I have heard that there are even alcohol with cockroaches and so on. And for sure, if I would see in a view, I would buy it, definitely. I was working for several companies in different locations. For example, I was working in Spain for Torres. This is a huge wine maker. Toro, it's mean bull. Taurus, it's bulls, and they produce a lot of different stuff with different kind of flavor and spirit level and so on. And they also have sets which make some presentation like puzzles, for example. These small bottles could go inside of each other to make a square pot. For example, I was working for Casta Diabla. This is Chilean winemaker, and it is a story that those wine is so expensive that Diablo by itself serve as a guard for this wine cellar. And they also have some very old one bottles, like 100 and 120 years old, and they quite small, and they have price like $2,000. And if you will buy it, it definitely something unique and antique.
And then my last question will be how knowing about Alcominimalistic could help to make this world a better place.
If you live in one country, you have already tested all the spirits drink which are presented on the shop shelves. But if you fly a lot, sometimes you will see in duty free or in some winemakers small bottles designed especially to tourists, and they have ability to buy it, and then it would be like QR code or something else, some additional way how to order it through the borders. And it's a good way to be not heavy-weighted, but to test as many as possible. For example, when I was working in Frankfurt on Main, it was a bar, and there were like, I don't know exactly, by rumors, 45 sort of beers. And each time when I was trying to go home in Kiev from Germany, I was taking with myself like 30 bottles, small one. And you know, there is a limitation when you go through the borders. And if you, for example, will tell like have 5 bottles each of half liter, it would be like 2.5 liters. It's a maximum limit. You couldn't exceed it. But if you will have like 25 different tests or 20 different tests by 100 grams, it would be the same volume. So you are allowed to pass through.
And we review the skill of Alcominimalistic and how it could be helpful to you. Stay in peace.